Make memories to good music. Invest in quality headphones. Always make a soundtrack, because pretty soon you won't be listening to music. You'll be listening to who you were.
Mixtape is a recent release by Beethoven and Dinosaur. On May 7th, literally hours after learning of its existence, I bought it, downloaded it, and binged it over the weekend, and I can honestly say I loved it. I was never really one for John Hughes movies, as much as this game was touted to be like. Instead, what sold me was a single clip I saw of Stacy and Slater skateboarding through a neighborhood that looked awfully familiar to me. And I have to say, I was blown away by this game. It's been a while since something could fully draw my attention away from Overwatch hell and actually have me play through it in its entirety. And it reminded me of two things. One, I love coming-of-age stories. And two, I adore stories where music takes the center stage. In this way, I really found myself relating to Mixtape's main character, Stacy Rockford, a music soundtrack nerd who saw the world through the media she consumed. Because, like Stacy, I also digested my life like this. Earbuds in, custom playlists blasting through, finding the perfect song for any moment that called for it. And so it got me thinking about some of my favorite pieces of media with dedicated Mixtape-esque soundtracks that either A, helped the emotional impact of their stories, or B, helped expand the story where simple words or dialogue were unable to. While I love musicals, this is not that. This is about Johnny Galvatron, lead singer of the Australian band The Galvatrons, and director of Mixtape, and him reminding me of my favorite media mixtapes. So, with that out of the way, let's go.
Blue wings are practically glowing. I can almost feel the air moving around me.
It would be a crime against all that is hella to not start off this list with Dontnod's 2015 game Life is Strange. While Mixtape follows three friends on their last day together, Life is Strange follows one Max Caulfield as she returns to her hometown to attend a prestigious art school. Over the course of a week, she reconnects with her long-lost best friend and obtains what can only be explained as a superpower to control time, and with it, navigates the mysterious disappearance of a town icon while grappling with the time she lost after leaving her best friend behind. This leads the duo to discover many hidden, much darker happenings in the sleepy town of Arcadia Bay. Both games have a romanticized, almost handmade Pacific Northwest vibe, and while not exactly the same, both have an important similarity: its utilization of music and atmosphere. Life is Strange has its own mixtape of a soundtrack, masterfully put together and composed by Jonathan Morali, frontman of the French indie band Sid Matters. And one of the most memorable moments of this game's original soundtrack, at least for me, belongs to Jonathan's band. Because when Obstacles by Sid Matters plays at the end of episode 1, you cannot tell me, if you played this game, that song didn't invoke something in you, and that song only grows more haunting when you return to it long after finishing the game. Life is Strange is either a tragically hopeful story or a tragically heartbreaking story, depending on how you play the game. And its soundtrack will stick with me forever, carrying the memories of my time at Blackwell Academy and the multitude of emotions that came with it. I don't really want to touch live action on this channel, but for this, I'm gonna have to. Because I'm sure in the future when this movie appears down the Mixtape timeline, Stacy Rockford will also fall in love with this movie's perfectly woven soundtrack, just like me. Baby Driver follows a guy named Baby.
Your name's Baby. B-A-B-Y Baby.
Whose whole life revolves around his love of music and multitude of playlists. It's his only anchor to his past and his way of hiding his severe case of tinnitus. Because of this, every moment, every piece of action, every car chase, and even coffee runs are meticulously edited to the soundtrack. It pleases the eyes and tickles the brain just right. Perhaps I was ultra primed for this movie, both as a fan of Edgar Wright and his take on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, another great musically tied movie too, but more in vibes than Mixtape-esque soundtrack. But both editors for Baby Driver also worked on Scott Pilgrim. We love natural progression here. Maybe you don't think this movie's that great, or it's a little pretentious. That's okay. I like what I like, but you don't have to.
Your buddy's here.
Fooling around, fooling cooling! What's fooling cooling?
Speaking of an interwoven soundtrack full of vibes, let's take a moment for the anime cult classic that changed the trajectory of my anime life, Fooly Cooly. If you don't know, I'm talking about the 6-episode OVA released back in 2000. It follows a young boy named Naota, as he deals with growing up practically on his own. His older brother left to follow his dream, and he was left behind in a boring little town with their brain-dead dad. He gets no peace during his shift into adolescence. Not with his brother's crazy ex throwing herself all over him, robots popping out of his head, and some crazy alien chick violently after whatever hidden power he has in his head. Fun stuff. The origins of this OVA's soundtrack is quite unique compared to the others on this list, for the sole reason Fooly Cooly was the directorial debut of animator Kazuya Tsurumaki. Let me explain. In 2010, director Tsurumaki and character designer Yoshiyuki Sadamoto wrote what is essentially a production logbook, filled with original art made for the show, pre-production notes, and interviews regarding the actual production and episode play-by-plays. In this book, we get a glimpse into what made the soundtrack for Fooly Cooly.
Yeah, I've said this many times, but when we started FLCL, I had no confident vision for the soundtrack. Even when I was drawing the keyframes, I had something like, I want you to speak like this in mind, and I drew them accordingly. I even had vague ideas when it came to sound effects, like while drawing the keyframes. However, I couldn't do that with the music. I couldn't imagine at all what kind of music should accompany the scenes I was drawing, so I really lacked confidence in that aspect. When there's visual imagery, I don't know what kind of music should be used. I don't understand how to commission composers and tell them, please create music like this. And with the Pillows, they already had many songs available, so I could choose the appropriate songs for the scenes. So if, by any chance, the Pillows said, don't use any of our existing songs, order a custom soundtrack from us, I would have been in a lot of trouble, I think.
Honestly, smart. Also, just what a great choice for this wacky and deceivingly deep coming-of-age story. The rebellious, yet nostalgically comforting sound of the Pillows really uplifted so much of the imagery of the show and truly helped cement the vibes trying to be conveyed. Conveyed very successfully, I might add, and unforgettably.
Musicians these days usually sing about the way things are in the present. I'd like to sing a song that can become a brilliant ray of light that shines within that darkness.
I think that's how Stacy Rockford saw music in her mixtapes. She says as much to Slater when she confesses,
If I could take you to New York on a cassette tape, I'd be braver.
Feeling alone in a huge, bustling city, if only you had something to help with that feeling. But then you finally hear it. The most haunting melody, an angelic voice somehow breaking through the noise of the masses, extending catharsis in shared loneliness. And this is where Netflix's 2019 anime Carol on Tuesday starts, with the song not yet fully realized, just a desperate plea from one lonely girl to another. You see, in this anime, we follow these two young girls as they become a musical duo and take on a world run almost entirely on AI-written music, bringing with them refreshingly hopeful and beautifully crafted music. And they aren't the only musical acts in this show either, there's many more. The director, legendary Shinichiro Watanabe, wanted this anime to be a love letter to music. Every episode title is a real-world record single. Music plays such a vital role in this anime because of that. Every artist gets a full-fledged song, and to accomplish this, director Watanabe pulled various vocal talents and producers to truly make an incredible, unforgettable, completely original soundtrack. But still, absolutely focused musically with Carol and Tuesday's journey. So while not a mixtape in the same sense as the other examples on this list, the music here is still very much interwoven into the story and reflecting the emotional growth between Carol and Tuesday as a duo, who navigate their new lives together. I would be a liar if I said the final song of this anime didn't bring a tear to my eye. And I can honestly say, this soundtrack is the one I revisited the most since finishing this anime. Carol and Tuesday is a celebration of girlhood, music, and how music expresses what simple words cannot, how it brings people together. And where would any of us be without music?
Kiss me before sunrise. I'm leaving you.
Well, that completes my list. Did you like mixtape? Are there any mixtape soundtracks that you love? Let me know what music makes you feel good in the comments below. And if you're new here and like what you saw, please give my other videos a try. It means a lot to hear feedback on my new venture here, and I read every comment. And, to quote the game that brought me out of my writer's block, see you tomorrow.